Hey everyone, it's Smitha. It's been forever since I've actually filmed a YouTube video. As some of you know, I have been pregnant. I'm actually pretty far along in my pregnancy, so I'm happy about that. I'm definitely not one of those people that sort of physically handles pregnancy well. This is my second kid, and I just kind of went with it. I created the content that I felt like I was up for, which was mostly like short form Instagram, and I uploaded some shorts on YouTube. But anyway, I wanted to just, I had so many things that I wanted to do that I haven't done, but that's okay. I know a lot of you have, still been following me along on Instagram and seeing my content there. I have so many things that I want to do leading up to the holidays, and I'm excited that, I'll be kind of returning to my normal self by then. I probably actually gonna have more time because I'll be off of work, which I know I'll be busy with the baby, but compared to everything that I have going on right now, that feels like it's gonna be a welcome break. So anyway, the Clionadh Sale is happening tomorrow, and as many of you know, Clionadh has been having pretty frequent restocks and sales, which is fantastic. I've been a Clionadh customer for a really long time, since they were really the first brand Multichromes that I tried back in 2020. And back then there were, often really long wait times for orders, which I didn't mind because for me, it was always worth the wait. But it's been really exciting and fun to see how often they're restocking. We're getting into a kind of rhythm of seeing more releases from them, which I think is great. And it's really kind of kept the excitement level for Clionadh up. So most recently, they launched 2 new lines of shadows. Those are the dimensional shadows and the jeweled light shadows. So I just wanted to talk briefly about them, and I'm gonna do a lot of linking of my content that I created on Instagram down in the text below. And you can click on those links for kind of quick reference, because I actually did quite a lot in terms of swatches, comparisons, and the like. So I think that'll be a useful place to go. But and then also I will link other I swatched pretty much my whole stained glass collection on Instagram, so I'm gonna go ahead and link that down below. I did a bunch of swatch reels. I know people really like seeing live swatches, but there's so many Clionadh shadows that I couldn't possibly, and I've done a bunch of favorite videos as well, so I'll link those for reference too. And I don't want to be, redundant in this video, so I thought I would just start by talking about the dimensionals. So the dimensionals, I still have in a separate mini palette here. Yeah, there are 7 dimensional shadows. Mine are quite messy because of playing around with them, wearing them. I'm actually wearing Ferric right now as a single shadow look. These are super interesting shadows. I think some of my personal favorite, because, well, I should say, that these are definitely the most textured shadows from Clionadh that they have. That being said, they're not textured compared to how textured shadows can get. And I actually get on with most textured shadows. Now, there are some absolutely beautiful kind of neutral with a twist shades in here. There are some colorful as well. There's a blue and a purple. They're not extremely vibrant, so I would say, like, in general, people would probably find the dimensional shadows to be wearable. But what I like about them is that the shades are just super nuanced and unique. I'm just gonna shout out like, and I will again link my swatches down below so that you can see. I would, you know, for any new category that you're trying, I would try, I mean, you know, I think you're gonna be best by trying 1 or 2 shades rather than a whole bunch. Not that you know, can't do that, but if you're somebody who, you know, really needs to experiment with shadows to see if they work with you first, I would start by getting, you know, a couple of shadows. And I want to shout out a couple of my favorites that I think people are really gonna like. The first, and I did a look with this one. This is the shade Oxidize, and I will share my look as well, the link to my look down below. This has like, you know, a kind of bluish leaning it leans blue, but not super bright blue. And I think it has a very kind of like, it lends itself to very smoky looks, perfect for fall. And then the other shade that I would like to shout out is the one I'm wearing now, Ferric. Again, like very, very sparkly. But a sort of like nuanced or different type of, it's like neutral and amped up neutral, I would say. Having trouble finding my descriptive words today, but I think those are 2 of my favorites in this collection. And a lot of other people I've heard have also really liked that, those 2 as well. This is what Ferric looks like in the pan. But yeah, if you're somebody who likes really sparkly eyeshadow, and, you know, sort of neutral with a twist shadows, I think you would really enjoy checking out that line, the dimensional line. And then the other one that I wanted to point out is that they just came out with is the Jeweled Lights line. And there were 11 Jeweled Lights. And these are have corresponding shades in the original jeweled multichrome line. So each shadow in here also had, there was one that existed in the original jeweled shadow line. And what's different about these compared to the original jeweled shadows, the original ones were black based. These are gray based. I do find them to be a little bit more sparkly. And a little brighter. They don't have, a couple of the shades don't have as dramatic of a kind of base and shift. I would say they're extremely shifty. There are a couple where I feel like, you know, you really get the drama that you don't with these ones. Maybe Kiln would probably be one of them, and Smolder. But I think a lot of people will get on better with these than with the original ones for a number of reasons. And you're probably going to hear my husband and my daughter in the background. So sorry, but anyway, I think that's one of the more differences. One is the how sparkly they are. They're slightly more textured, but more sparkly. I have heard that people had wear time issues with the original and creasing issues with the original jeweled shadows. I personally, I'm not sure I noticed that myself, but that it would be something worthwhile to note. Again, if you're somebody who didn't try either line, I would say, you know, you're gonna be probably safer trying the Jeweled Light line, but if there's a couple of shades that really stand out to you in the original Jeweled line, I would say try one. They are pricey. I think they're the priciest of all of the multichromes that Clionadh has come out with, or close to it or up there. So I would say try one if you're curious. Maybe you'll get on with them great, or just stick with the Jeweled Light. I think until you know how you get on with a certain shadow type, it's hard to base your judgment based on someone else's experience. So that's what I would recommend for those. And I did a side-by-side comparison reel of almost all, I have a lot of the jeweled shadows because they were actually some of the first multichromes I tried from Clionadh, and I was really enamored with them. I think the two that I fell first head over heels for were Weathered and Patina. So yeah, the first time I wore them, I was just like, I can't believe shadows like this exist. And I know that Patina has a corresponding shade. I don't think that Weathered does, but anyway, I'll put up my comparison swatches for you, or link them down below as well so that you can see them in their like videos where you can kind of see dynamic differences between the two. So those are the two new lines that they came out with. And then in terms of, you know, the other shadows that they have, I have a lot. I had some people message me saying they were like first time, this was going to be their first order with Clionadh, which is so exciting and cool. They're always, you know, new customers, I feel like, that come around every launch. And so I wanted to, like, you know, I think the guides that I have will be helpful in looking at swatches. And I just wanted to kind of talk about a couple of lines again. I would recommend go to the website, read the different categories. You will, you know, get an idea at least of what to expect from some of the different categories. For example, you know, some of the most sparkly shades you're gonna get in the glitter multichrome line, and in general, the glitter multichrome line is not the priciest either. So if you are seeing, you know, shadows in that line, that might be easier to pick up a few extra shadows. And then, you know, in terms of the wearable or kind of neutral leaning multichromes, you're gonna get that with the Earth Vibrance. You're also gonna get that with, they came out with a new line, and it is called the Pearlescent Multichrome line. There's only 4 shades in there, but I would say it might be worthwhile to try one of those, because, you know, they, if, you know, you're curious about that one, they have an extremely smooth texture, but a pretty strong shift in them. And so I think, you know, if you're looking for kind of like the wearable multichromes, again, when we use the term wearable, that means different things to different people. But I think you're gonna get a lot of variety in that line. And then let's see, some of the shiftiest multichromes that they have came out with the electric multichrome line, and those have been hugely popular. They always have shades that are sold out. The top picks from that line have included, you know, shades like Mural, shades like Hilt. Those are two of my favorites, and I've talked about them in previous videos as well. So I would say something different about the shadows in the electric multichrome line compared to some other brands is that, you know, the texture on those is extremely smooth. So in general, you're gonna get, I think, smoother textures with the Clionadh multichromes than some other brands. And I'm again not someone who really has issues with textured shadows, but it's something to note. I do think that a lot of people, you know, where they have maybe shades that don't work for them from other brands, they will find more shades that work with them from Clionadh, because in general, I feel like the shadows are smoother. So that's something to keep in mind. And then let's see, the iridescent shadows, I get a lot of questions about those, and I have a bunch. I actually don't have very many from the first set that came out, so the series 1. And I've heard Millie or Bad to the Brow, and you should definitely check out her content as well. She's made a lot of Clionadh content on Instagram and YouTube. But I know that she has said, she has, I think, all of them from both lines. She said that you're gonna, like, her experience is that the more exciting ones tend to be in the series 2. And I think that's probably why I personally own mostly series 2 and only have like one shadow from the series 1. So if you like sparklier shades with more shift, I think you're gonna get that more in the second line than you are in the first. I do have all of my iridescent swatch, so again, linked down below. And actually, if I don't think I explained before, but I have a bookmark, or not a bookmark, a guide, Clionadh guide on my Instagram page, so that, you know, hopefully that can help you as you're going through with some organization to finding the content. And then, yeah, I think in terms of the stained glass shadows, I think that was about all that I wanted to mention. I have talked in length about the stained glass shadows and kind of like a beginner's guide to approaching those shadows in previous videos. Other things, I don't know everything that will be code eligible. Again, I forgot to mention in the beginning of this video that I do have a code. The code is glamsmitty. It's just my username to save. And that stacks on top of the sale that they're already having. So thank you if you do use that code. But I would also check out some of the other things they've come out with. They've come out with beautiful multichrome polishes that I have worn and really enjoyed. If you're into polishes and, you know, multichrome polishes, they're doing really exciting things with that. And then they have also come out with two beautiful palettes that are still available. Actually, one of them is a collaboration with Emily Violet Marie. That was the Dragonfruit palette, and brushes and highlights and polishes. And that one remains, you know, a staple for me. I've also really enjoyed the Deep Sea Treasures palette that's come out earlier this year. I've created a number of looks with that palette. It has 8 multichromes. One thing I would say is that, you know, eventually it would be cool to see those shades sold individually, because you know, the price point of the palette is high. It's in the $90 range, I believe, which, you know, I believe that you get your money's worth, but you mostly get your money's worth if you like the majority of the shades. That being said, I do. But yeah, that would be another thing to keep your eye out for if you'd been thinking about it, maybe getting it during the sale. That collection had a palette, polishes, and no, I think it was just a palette and polishes, but I've really enjoyed that. And there's some shades in there that I'm constantly reaching for, and what's nice about that is that the size of the shadows in the Deep Sea Treasures palette are the same as their kind of standard stained glass shadow size. So another thing to keep in mind. And yeah, I'm rambling, but basically I just wanted to come and kind of make a video, since the sale is tomorrow, talk about some of the most recent releases, kind of link what the content that I've made down below for reference. And yeah, let me know what else you'd like to see. I do have, like I said, a bunch of kind of ideas, upcoming ideas, and things planned. So I plan to be back more, probably more regularly after the baby is born, but until then I will be around. And thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.